Greetings, brethren, CloakingDonkey here, and as you can see, Ashes of Creations. This is an MMORPG that has quite the hype machine behind it. It's been rather well hyped since the beginning of the year, really, and actually starting last year, I believe. And they've come out with various videos about their ideas and what they want to do in their game, and even some mock gameplay, and lots of environments and all of that stuff. And then on the 1st of May, so just 2 days ago on Monday, their Kickstarter campaign went live as well. And you can rest easy, you don't actually have to go and pledge because they already met their funding goal. It took them like 20 hours to meet their $750,000 funding goal. However, $750,000 really isn't that much. I mean, even just looking at the team that they have, you know, it was like around 10 people, that's probably not even going to pay their salaries for a year. So I'm really not sure what that $750,000 is supposed to be for. It's probably just lowballing it so people get more excited that, ooh, it was hit really quickly, everybody loves this game, this is all great. And then, you know, put in more funding, maybe. Or maybe they really don't need that much more. Maybe they already have a bunch of private funding or maybe even publisher funding. I'm not honestly too sure. I don't think they said in any of their videos if they have a publisher or not. So far, they only appear as Intrepid Studio, which is a group of people who have previously worked on such games as EverQuest and EverQuest 2, PlanetSide and PlanetSide 2, and Vanguard, Saga of Heroes, so it is a lot of people from Daybreak and ex-Sony Online Entertainment. Now, there will definitely be some criticism of this project in this video, and I would like you to not freak the fuck out and accuse me of being overtly negative and pessimistic or whatever, because I know there's a lot of hype for this game and people are really excited about it, but there need to be some tempering words need to be spoken. But before I get to that, let's talk about some of the cool ideas that they have. So their biggest cool idea, in my opinion, is the node system. They want to basically separate the world into these areas that all have a separate node. And as you do things in this area of the world, it contributes to this node. And if you level up the node by doing things that give your character experience, so, you know, all sorts of people are working together, harvesting stuff, killing stuff, the sort of standard thing you do in MMOs, that all contributes to the node, and then the node eventually levels up as well, and it becomes a small camp, and then it becomes a small village, a town or settlement, and then a city, and then a sprawling metropolis or whatever, right? So it becomes a bigger and bigger civilization hub. And as that happens, it sort of unlocks other events. And then also there will be limits to that. So you can't have a metropolis in every single area of the world. There's only a limited amount of these metropoli you can have. And also some of the other things are probably limited as well. So you can't have a city in every one as well. Stuff like that, right? So the world will be different on every server, really. And it will also be able to be changed, right? So you can tear down a city or metropolis and basically nuke it back to level 1, and then, you know, you can build a metropolis somewhere else, or, you know, so there is potential for the world to change over time. They also want a strong economy for their game, which is based around local economy. So they are not looking at a global auction house, as many other MMORPGs do. They're more looking for local markets where people can sell stuff, and that is going to encourage trade across the world, obviously, which then means people have to move goods from A to B, encouraging people to take those goods away from them while they are being transported, also giving people the option to defend that. It's all very old schooly ideas that they are working on here. Now, those ideas are all very, very cool, and I'm totally in favor of them. There's, of course, also PvP, and you can siege towns. They talked about guild warfare and such. There are, however, no limited factions, right? So you can become a citizen of one of the towns or metropoli, and that kind of adds you to a faction, so you can be at war with another city or metropolis, but there are no set factions, right? Because factions being bound to civilization that you as the player build means that there isn't any factions by default. They sort of spring up as time goes by. And players have some control in that as well, because citizens actually decide who is in the government for each city and so on and so forth. So they do have a ton of really cool ideas to make their world, well, cool and moving and fun and engaging and ever-changing, right? Because let's face it, the real problem with MMORPGs nowadays is that they are all very static, right? Most of them have followed kind of the World of Warcraft formula. I'm not going to say World of Warcraft clone because I got into trouble for this before, but basically, yeah, they followed the World of Warcraft formula very closely because they wanted that success, and so they added single-player questing and instance dungeons, instance raids, blah blah blah. It's certainly more of a closed-off theme park. You have specific things that you can do, and there's other things you can't do, la-di-da-di-da, and there really is no change in the world other than when whoever company runs it has some sort of event, yeah? And then there's some special things happening, but it's not really dynamic. It's just a time-based new attraction in the theme park that you really don't have that much control over, right? So that's what they want to get rid of with this game, and I absolutely applaud that. I mean, that is also what the previous generation of crowdfunded MMORPGs wanted to do, namely Shadows of the Avatar, Camelot Unchained, Crowfall, and Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. All of them also want a more living, breathing world that feels, you know, more alive, and they also went back to a lot of the more old school trappings of MMORPGs that were popular before World of Warcraft was around, trying to basically steer the genre away from World of Warcraft, which I am all for. That's great, thumbs up for that. Now let's get to some of the negatives about Ashes of Creation. First of all, I am a bit disappointed about the races and classes. Now, I don't have a problem with the game being standard high fantasy. I think that's fine, really, but I thought it would be fun to have some races other than literally humans, dwarves, elves, and orcs. I mean, that is the 4 races you have. There's 2 versions of each race, I suppose, but yeah, that's it. Humans, orcs, elves, and dwarves. I can't imagine anything more standard than that. I would have really liked to see something just a little bit different. Even if it's just lizard people or cat people, you know, just something that isn't used in every fantasy MMORPG ever. Just something. And I'm a little disappointed in that. However, the dwarves are called the Dunsinkel dwarves, and I think that's a hilarious name. I don't know why, but I think that name is incredibly funny. So, alright, we'll live with that. Then come the classes, which are also very, very generic and very basic, to the point where they didn't even bother to give the tank class a proper name. I mean, listen, I always play the tank classes, and I am absolutely used to that basically always being a warrior, a paladin, a fighter, or if they feel really fancy, they'll call it Guardian or something, right? But they don't even do that for Ashes of Creation. They're just calling it the tank. I'm sorry, but that is just a tiny little bit too on the nose for me. I would have really liked them to just go with something at least, you know, at least make it look like you made the effort to come up with something, because I mean, this way it's just like, look, I'm still gonna play the tank obviously, because, you know, it's the type of class that I really enjoy, but I'm just gonna be the tank, right? I mean, at least if I'm the Guardian, I can have some kind of cool backstory. Oh, I am the Guardian of so-and-so, and I carry the shield of might and defend the people from the ghastly horrors in the world, or whatever, yeah? But no, I'm just the tank. I don't know, sorry, it's stupid. Okay, it's a little stupid. And I understand for most people that's going to be a minor complaint, but for me it's not, you know? I think theme and feel of the lore is important, you know? I'm not saying I want a deep, rich lore that I can have, you know, 10 books of 300 pages each and pore over the tomes and unearth the secrets. I would like all of that stuff to come with the gameplay. That would be much better in my opinion than just having, you know, lots of lore written down. But on the other hand, I do still want to have that theme oozing out of the game, and I'm not really feeling it with the classes and races, sadly, in Ashes of Creation. I feel it's just very generic, yeah. And also with the monsters that they showed, that's also very generic stuff, you know, dragons, alright, cool, but, you know, just, I would have liked to see something crazy with I don't know, tentacles and teeth or something, you know, being like, oh, it's the Ogmok something, yeah, it's, I don't know. I would have liked them to come out with something a little bit more risque than just the absolute standard of everything. And then the next thing that I really need to talk about, and this is something that goes to the hype that they've been building. They are making it seem like somehow this game is going to come out this year. And I really need to stress, guys, that that is not going to happen, okay? What you have seen in the game, I know the game looks really fantastic if you look at it, but it is not a game yet, okay? What they have shown is pretty easily made because they already have a game engine, right? They're going to use the Unreal Engine 4. And as such, there are editors out there where you can knock together all the things that they have shown in relatively short time. That, however, does not mean that they have an actual game, okay? Because they need all the stats, all the systems, all the scripts, you know, just the node system alone is going to require major scripting and just oodles and oodles of libraries and all sorts of nonsense that they can't just plop in basic trees from the editor library and say, ha, look at this glorious scene that we created. And look, I'm not knocking the game. It looks, they have nice design ideas, but I'm saying what they're showing you are just scenes. It's not that hard to make those. What's really hard about game development is all the scripting and all the libraries and all the stats and all the other crap that runs behind everything, like the netcode, everything that makes it an MMORPG. And that hard stuff, I'm pretty sure, unless they already started 2 or 3 years ago making this game, that's not done yet. They probably haven't even started on it. And I really need to stress to you that this game is not going to come out this year. It's not going to come out in 2018. And it's, I mean, sure, maybe it comes out in 2019. Maybe they have a really, you know, tight schedule, and them having an engine to go with is going to give them a little time advantage, and, you know, they are ready for launch by mid-2019. Maybe, right? Maybe. But I'm skeptical. Okay, I've seen this with another generation of crowdfunded MMORPGs that are already in the making now for 3 years. And I really want to make this clear. I'm not trying to piss in their soup. I'm not saying, listen, your game is garbage or whatever, it's never gonna come out. I'm not, you know, who knows? I don't know when it's gonna come out. You didn't actually tell us when you plan to release. You didn't tell us how far you are. You didn't tell us how long you have already been developing this game. What I'm saying is, developing an MMORPG takes 3 to 5 years at least. The last generation of crowdfunded MMORPGs should have shown this. Look at Crowfall and Camelot Unchained. They are nowhere near close to release. These games just take a while to make. I mean, one of the MMOs with the shortest development time is Warhammer Online. That was in development for 3 years, and it was an absolute mess. It could have easily stayed in development for another year or 2 just for polishing. So don't expect this to launch anytime soon. And as such, I also think that a lot of people are way overhyping this game. I just want to make sure that you guys don't go into this thinking, oh my god, it's the best game ever, next summer we're gonna be playing this. Because no, we're not. We're certainly not. It also doesn't help that they posted December 2018 as their delivery date on the Kickstarter page. Now, I don't know if that is a Kickstarter thing. That could very well be that you can't have a delivery date that's longer away than the end of the following year, right? Because, I mean, December 2018, it's, you know, that's a pretty specific date to have on the Kickstarter page. So that could very well be that it's a Kickstarter thing, but it would be very nice if Intrepid Studio could actually come out and make a statement about this and say, listen, this is how long we've been in development, especially now because you've reached your funding, right? You've reached your funding. It's not a big deal. Just tell people, right? And I think actually by telling people, you are gonna have a much easier time really to, you know, get more funding in from this Kickstarter than without. Because, well, let's face it, right now you have about 6,000 backers and a little over $1 million in the bank. But if you really think about it, that is about $180 $80 per backer. That is an absurdly high amount. But you have some really dedicated people. Now it's time to get in the people who are not as dedicated and who just want to come in for like, you know, 20, 50 bucks maybe. And I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to catch them much, much more easily if you're just honest with how long this is going to take. Alright, that's all I'm saying. And to all the people who are mega excited about this, that's great, that's great. I'm also looking forward to this, but don't get too hyped. Alright, don't get too hyped because this will take a while and you will just get burned out otherwise. If, however, you are interested in this game and you want to register for their beta or any of their other stuff, then please do click on the referral link in the description. That is my referral link. I will get sort of in-game currency for that or something, so there you go. That's what I get out of it, right? I don't know exactly what you get out of it. I think you get some extra bonuses as well or something. But anyway, I just put it in there. You don't have to use it. You can just go to their website or to the Kickstarter and do your thing, right? Just leaving it there because a donkey needs his nugs. Just saying. There you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed my quick little look at Ashes of Creation, a game that certainly looks very interesting, but that I don't think you should get overly hyped for yet, because it's just gonna be a little while until it comes out. If you did enjoy it, please consider liking the video and also consider subscribing to my channel, and definitely head over to twitch.tv/CloakingDonkey, where I stream pretty damn regularly, and follow me there, because you don't want to miss any of those glorious, glorious streams where we have oh so much fun without you. But until then, I've been the CloakingDonkey, and I'll see you in another video!